Here we go. Hi, everyone. I looked up and I saw Lauren holding up the dragon and it broke me.
That's my goal. It's my goal. Whenever a stream is going to start that I'm on, see if I can make everybody laugh right before we go live.
I adore
That's
it.
my secret.
I think it's fantastic. So hi, everyone, and welcome. We're here for another Paint and Slay, and we are continuing with our lovely young green dragon, which is from WizKids Miniatures. We painted this up a couple weeks ago, because remember, Lauren and I were at PAX U last weekend, so we took a little break. So basically, we're going to be focusing on getting more green on our Dargan here, and having some fun with it today.
Yeah.
I can't wait to get more color on this fellow. I'm super excited for him.
I've been loving all of the detail work we put into getting all of the scales and the leathery bits on the wings and all of that as we put the green on has been popping out really nice. So it was one of those where the last time we were painting, I was anxious to get to the green, but now that we put in all of that work, the green is looking that much cooler and it's worth the wait.
Yes, and there's going to be a lot more green happening today because, green dragons are green. It's just the way it's going to work out.
Super green.
Yes, super duper green. So we're working with Vallejo Paints from the game color line. Just a reminder for those of you who are playing the game at home and painting along with us. I will be referring to these paint colors in generic terms because, trust me, I get it. I have a collection of my own that is not Vallejo in terms of paint colors. So if you have your own paint colors, I'm going to do my best to describe what each of these colors are synonymous to from other collections. So basically, we had started working with the color dark green from Vallejo Game Color line, which is this one. But I'm going to call this a nice quality Kelly green or emerald green to get us started if you're doing something in a more generic term. Now, we did get some real estate covered, but true to form for big minis, we're actually going to keep going with the dark green for now because we need to get these front legs. We're also going to be working on getting the details that happen up here in the wings because we want to get the musculature in the wings. We want to get the bone details that lead down to the talons in green. And then I think that should take care of it for us with dark. Oh, and then we also have, this is sort of a harder detail to see because it kind of gets a little lost, but we're going to do a little strip of dark green under here just to tie in the back of the body to the front of the body. So we don't have this stark line of division that goes just a lighter green and then we have the dark green kind of floating around between the two legs. So that's really where this dark green is going to end up going while we're here. And then finally, you can see there are these fun little, I guess they're talons, I guess they're spikes maybe? Yeah, I think these are more spikes. These spikes are also going to get that dark green as well, but because we need a very fine detail brush for that, we're going to do that at the very end. So, that being said,
before we dive into all this dark green, a couple little bits of housekeeping. First off, if you are joining us from the game, welcome. We are still doing the community challenge that is going on all this week. Despite the fact that the community challenge is going to say it's 14 million, we have lowered it to 10 million because we had a couple of shows that unfortunately got canceled because Amazon, also internet. So depending on how many of you do your challenge points during the show, we might actually reach our goal during Paint and Slay. If that happens, then y'all unlock those 3 gold chests, which I'm excited about. If you do have any questions, either for us, about minis, about painting, about the game, about PAX Unplugged, about holiday plans, go ahead and put those in chat with question in big capital letters right before it. And our amazing moderators, Martin and Mars, will be grabbing those and putting those into our backstage chat so that we don't miss it in case we are, focused on some details.
no, there's a few details.
And all of the details. And finally, I think because the wonderful person in charge of our social media and community management, Trevor, found the best picture of Kermit dressed as a dragon ever of all time. I think we have decided that our dragons are Kermit and Kermie.
Yes.
I love it.
I
love it so much.
It was too darn perfect. So yeah, we're going with Kermit and Kermie.
And it was Kermee?
I thought it was Kermie.
Oh, IE makes a little more sense.
I think that's how they do it.
But yes, that is all of the information that we needed to impart into the painting.
Awesome. So I went in with my dark green and I thinned it out because remember, I'm going to use food textures to give you reference. Right now, when my dark green comes out of my bottle, it is thick, almost like ketchup. So I go in and I've watered it down to be more like maple syrup because I want to get the pigment to flow a little bit more smoothly over a dragon miniature this size. It makes it a lot easier. Plus, when we did that black wash first, it helped bring out a lot of the details. And it's also by thinning the paints, you're going to let those details kind of play through a little bit more than they would if you used full throttle, unthinned paint.
Remind me again, what was the consistency we're looking for?
Maple syrup.
Maple syrup.
Maple syrup. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to first get, because I will forget if I don't do now, I'm going to get that thin strip of green that we're just going to put in and sort of play it by ear here under the wing.
All right.
On both sides.
And what size brush have you grabbed
I
to
have
do that?
grabbed my number 1 liner from the Mod Podge line. That's an excellent question.
Oh, that happens to be exactly what I grabbed. Hey, I grabbed the right
I
one.
think that's what we were using before because it was in my collection of brushes that I made sure to wash.
To wash?
To wash.
To do all the washing.
I'm near Pennsylvania. That is a thing that happens. Some people say wash and water.
Oh, for sure.
Wash and water.
All right.
So
I'm just kind of keeping an eye because...
Yeah. This is where we get artistic and put in our own interpretation. So I'm going to use these 2 little muscle details here and paint those up with that dark green. And then I just did a little line running along the side, the flank of the dragon.
All right. Actually, I had to add a little bit of paint to my water.
Oh,
I added water to my paint, and then I thinned it too much.
So that's a thing that can happen.
Yeah.
And then I also realized there's a little bit more bone plating that's happening here. So I'm going to get that as well on this side. You may have reached it and taken care of it. I realized after the fact, and that happens a lot, that you may realize that you missed a spot, honey.
It's interesting because I'm looking at mine and it almost looks like I can't tell if I'm missing a bone plate or if, yeah, I can't.
I mean,
I don't know how well this is going to show up on camera, but it almost...
there's just that little space. It's not well defined like the other plates, which is why I missed it too.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so
grab that.
Just going to get that in so that it flows a little bit more linearly. Oh, I see they were talking about the classic red box in chat.
Oh, yes. The classic red box, when they re-released it for 4th edition, was actually the first piece of product I bought for D&D in the modern era, because I remember having the classic red box when I was young, super duper duper young, but I didn't really get a chance to play very much. And so getting it, the 4th edition box made me super happy.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So I can't point to it behind me. Actually, I can. It is right there.
There you go.
A little hard to see, but I got my 4th edition stuff right there.
Evidence.
Yes, I must prove that I have it.
Positive.
It was such a good box.
That's awesome.
And I liked when they put it out for 5th edition because those kind of starter sets, it wasn't the red box obviously, but like the starter sets and the sets that give you everything you and your players need to get started are super useful.
They really are. Okay, now on the other side, you're going to notice that there's a little bit more exposed because the wings lifted higher, but similar concept. I'm going to use that little muscle zone as where I'm going to bring some of the dark green. And then I just did a little line kind of trailing along the body through here.
All right. Yeah, because I remembered when you said the wing is higher because the dragon is, when it's mounted, it's kind of kilter and it's doing it's
gonna
banking.
Look like that. It is banking. It's gonna pose like that on its stand.
Yeah.
So you have a slightly. Yes, we did.
We got we're getting close to the channel point goal, so we'll see what happens. But also we got some questions. So Wistia, this is very important for what we're doing right now, wants to know warm or cold maple syrup for consistency.
Oh, I mean, maple syrup is always warm in my book.
That's it at least comes out room temperature or maybe a little cold, but then eventually you add it you add it to things that are warm and then it warms up. So also warm.
That's a good question though.
And then we did have some PAX Unplugged questions.
Ooh,
Tim Nose wanted to know, hope you had a great time at PAX Unplugged. Were you both there? Yes,
yes.
actually. We were both lucky to go.
Mm-hmm.
And um, yeah, I've been looking forward to that for a while.
Oh,
So,
you and me both. It was a wonderful experience. The people were fantastic.
and I noticed you've started on the leg
Yes,
here,
I've
so I'm
I've
going to
worked
join you.
around to the forward legs, the forearms,
The front legs.
the front legs. There we go.
Front legs. Front leg slash arm.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of turning around and moving of the mini, just because we have these fun angles to play around with now, thanks to the pose of the body. So I may pull off camera. Those of you who are familiar with it know I'll say I'm going off frame, and that just means I can't reach an angle because this is my camera. And sometimes that likes to hide the detail I want to get to.
Yep. Whereas I'm over here, so it happens. But
Yeah.
remember to, when you are painting yourself, try to sit comfortably,
Yes.
let yourself stretch, do
Take
what you need to
breaks.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah, take breaks. Absolutely. Do what you need to do to not get yourself a neck crick or a back crick.
This would not be good. Yeah.
Yeah. We do a few concessions during the stream because, hey, cameras, but otherwise, keeping an eye on your health is just as important because mini painting, especially a Dargan like this, can take a
Yes.
little while.
They do that.
When we come back for the new year, we're going to be doing at least another episode or two
Yeah.
on this big boy, and this big boy is young. Imagine if we had.
Well, I mean, I do.
Yeah.
Hold on. Hold on. I does has. Hold on.
You does has the big boys,
I does have the
big girls, the
yeah.
big ones.
One of my crowns just fell. That's okay. This is the for funsies. This is the adult green. This is the young adult.
Ooh,
There's your scale.
there you go.
There's
you
your
go.
big boy.
That's what we're building towards.
Yeah, that's what it's
I'll
going
do
to
that
grow
next
into.
time. Yeah.
That's Kermit Senior. Actually, that one I think I named Iago.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I think I went Iago with that one. I do theme names, so my adult dragons have I think it was Aladdin, Jafar, Jasmine, and Iago is what I did.
Mm-hmm. I think this will be my first dragon that I'm painting.
Nice.
So this will be the first. I've thrown dragons at my players that I've named, but this is the first dragon that I've painted because I have a couple of other dragons, but they are pre-painted.
Right.
God, that musculature is so cool.
It really is.
We also had another PAX question from Awkwardish Panda. Hi, what's y'all's favorite memory from PAX Unplugged this year?
Oh.
That's a hard question.
No, I know right off the bat. So I had the pleasure of being at the Ink game Saturday night.
Nice.
And for all y'all who might have missed it and not seen it on the socials, Jeremy Crawford made a lovely announcement for us, and it was quite a joy to see him make the announcement. We have a particular champion joining us in February by the name of Vi. So if you were not aware of that as being a thing, heads up, you have your Vi champion. She's going to be joining us February in our roster, and oh my god, just from the stuff I'm seeing so far in development, very cool stuff.
And hey, V.
Yes.
How much fun has it been waiting for Vi?
I'm having an identity crisis.
Yep. On a regular basis, people are like, "Oh, okay, so we need to talk about V," and it's like, "Nope.
Yeah.
This is something different.
Yeah. In our morning touch base meetings, when everyone's all meeting, kind of running through what they're doing for the day, there's a lot of I'm working on the V champion. I'm like, the me? The what? No.
The what? Nope. Yep, it's just another one of those moments.
Yeah.
There's Brig and Briv. There's Orkira and Oriza.
Yep.
And now there's V and Vi.
There's V and Vi, and it's just it's funny. But yeah, that was one of my more memorable moments, but I also just enjoyed getting to see friends I haven't seen in a couple years, quite frankly. Face to face.
Yeah, I think that's mine. It sounds like such a it sounds like such an easy thing to say, but that's really the main reason I went
Mm-hmm.
was to reconnect with people who I hadn't had a chance to see at all,
Right.
or reconnect with people I hadn't seen in forever, or I hadn't seen in so long, or I just haven't seen at all
Yeah.
because these are people that I've gotten to know over the last couple of years,
Mm-hmm.
and we've been all at home.
Yep.
And before I go on, so you are doing basically the kind of the whole front claw, it looks
Yeah,
like.
doing the whole front of the leg. I have left that one more narrow tendon underneath that we're going to give the lighter green treatment,
Okay.
kind of like what we did on the inner thigh of the back legs.
But the rest of that
The
go with the
rest I'm
green.
going with, yes, go with the flow of the green. You got it.
Nice. And does that include all the way down to the claws?
You know, I think I'm actually going to have some fun and leave the thumb for a better term, I suppose. The thumb one, I'm going to make a lighter green.
Okay.
Kind of treat it like a dew claw. But the rest will all get the dark green, yeah.
I
And
like
don't
it.
worry about getting on the claws because the claws are going to black out anyways with paint. So that's an easy enough color to take over a green.
Yeah,
Yeah,
black always takes over.
it does. It's like,
But
I'm
that's
here.
okay. Nice
Respect my
glossy
authority.
claws. I'm looking
Yeah,
forward to it.
menacing.
But yeah, I think
Menacing.
beyond seeing people that I got a chance to sit and chat with, um I was really lucky to be on a couple of panels.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to remember if any of them got I know a couple of them got recorded, but I don't think any of them got streamed. Um, which is a little sad. I was kind of hoping that there'd
Yeah,
be more streamed stuff, especially after the last couple of years of the online
right.
panels that
Agreed.
or the online conventions.
Yeah.
But I got to be on some panels with some absolutely fabulous people, and each one of those was really like good stress and informative
Mm-hmm.
and exciting and like gratifying to be sitting with some of my peers and people that I just frankly look up to in the
Yeah.
industry and having some really good discussions. Um, and I don't know if I can pick a specific moment from those panels, but I know the panel I was the most excited and nervous about was one that was all about uh, talking about exploring different facets of your identity through TTRPGs in
Oh,
general.
it was a great one.
And yeah, being able to play um, a different personality, a different just a different anything, and like how do you go about doing that? What was people's experiences? What
Mm-hmm.
did playing some of the characters that we've played teach us about ourselves, either as a surprise or as something that you wanted to explore? And that was a really introspective panel for
Mm-hmm.
me
Oh,
because
absolutely.
um yeah, they were very good to the about sending us all the questions ahead of time for that one. So
Oh, that's
we all
awesome.
got a chance to think about our answers. And I was thinking about that for a while because I wanted to make sure that not only did I feel comfortable with what I was saying, but
Mm-hmm.
could say it succinctly and not get like emotionally overwhelmed,
Right.
if that sounds like,
No, it makes total sense.
especially a couple of the questions, the
Oh,
honest answers that I
yeah.
had, it was like, oh, I'm gonna get a little choked up. And so it gave me kind of an opportunity to be a little more prepared for that because um while there's nothing wrong with having those emotions
No.
about those kind of events that happen in your D&D game and with your characters, this was also a panel and where we're trying to give everyone a chance to talk. So
Mm-hmm.
it was good to kind of be prepared for those moments. And I really enjoyed that panel. It was a lot of fun. And yeah, I think
It was a pleasure to
oh
wash. Don't paint and
that
talk about panels at the same time. It
I
was
was
a
about to
pleasure
say,
to watch.
yeah, it was a super good panel. And to be honest, I'm keeping those questions
Ooh.
because I ended up getting together with some friends the night before because I was doing a lot of like avoiding going out to
Yeah.
restaurants with people and
Yeah.
avoiding going out to big gatherings and just like, hey,
Same.
for safety reasons as well as just being
Yeah.
able to talk with people. Um, so a couple of us got together that evening before to just basically grab some food and chat. And when I was telling the people that I was with, so I was with Mackenzie
Mm-hmm.
and Goblin Katie and D&D Jordan Lee, amazing, amazing folks. I'm
All of them,
telling them about how
absolutely.
I'm nervous
Yeah.
about this panel. And then I'd mentioned, but we had the questions ahead of time. They're like, oh, what are the questions? And we ended up spending quite a lot of time just ourselves answering
Mm-hmm.
those questions for each other.
Oh,
And it was
wow.
a surprising amount of like introspective D&D fun.
Nice.
So I'm holding on to those questions for like,
Yeah.
friendly gatherings and where we're all okay with talking about,
Mm-hmm.
we all know each other and we feel safe about
Comfort zone.
talking about some of
Yeah.
that stuff. And
Yep.
this was all happy stuff, but like it was
Yeah.
what's one character that has surprised you with something you've learned about yourself through playing that character,
Oh, wow.
basically was the question. um
That is a good one. Yeah.
yeah, and
Yeah.
it's one of those that it makes you kind of think about,
Mm-hmm.
especially any long-term characters that you've played. And it was a really, really good it was a really, really good panel, and it was also just good questions.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there was every single one that was asked, it had my attention. I wanted to hear more and what everyone else had to share for it for sure.
Me too. It was really
Yeah.
hard to speak up sometimes because it's like, but I want to hear what everybody else has to say.
Mm-hmm. So I'm starting to move up to the shoulder area, and this is where things get a little hinky because of all of the details that's happening here. So what I'm doing is there are these very thin membranes that are starting up
Okay.
for the wing.
Sorry, I had to turn the dragon the
Yeah.
same way that you were showing it to be like, ah,
So
okay.
these thin membranes, if you get a little bit of green going on there, that's going to be okay because we can do a nice blending between the two greens. But I'm basically working this green to start working its way up through here.
Okay.
Kind of like,
So
yeah.
so on the the bonish part,
Mm-hmm.
but not necessarily on the
On the
like there's this, let's
flesh.
see if I
Yeah.
can show it off. So there's this bone here, but then between the bone and the end of the wing, there's like this little strip of flesh. So
Yeah.
not that.
Yeah. If you get a little bit on
Okay.
there, I'm saying don't worry about it because it'll be something that can easily be corrected if needed. But basically, the aim is to keep the green on this portion,
Okay.
is what we're doing here.
Today's goal, keep the green on the bone. All right. Oh,
Yeah.
let me check in.
Yeah, how are we doing with the things?
Oh yeah, I should check in. Ooh,
How?
we're at 9,747,760. We are super close.
Close. So
We're
close.
super, super close.
Oh, it's exciting.
Um, yeah, and I see some people talking in chat about going to events and gatherings and conventions and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's going to be kind of, do what you're comfortable with, especially after having been sheltered for a while. Everybody's going
Mm-hmm.
to have different comfort levels. Even at the convention, there are people who are like, I'm only going to stay for a little bit because I'm
Same.
feeling overwhelmed already,
Yep.
me included.
Yep.
Um, I was before the pandemic, a much more extroverted person. And I think I still am, but my tolerance for gatherings has
Oh,
decreased.
big time.
And I definitely needed time to just go back to the hotel room,
Mm-hmm.
nonetheless, just trying to stay safe and
Right.
stay in small groups and stuff.
Yeah, I realized this week even that I was far more drained than I realized because I'm like, oh, I'll have, a day to recuperate. No, I'm feeling it this week. I'm still tired.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then you come home and it's like, all right, I'm going to make sure that I'm staying home. And we all took,
Yep. Did the
take
COVID
home
testing.
COVID
Yep.
tests and just trying to be safe about all of that too. So
Exactly.
it is definitely a thing to keep in mind, and everyone's going to have a different reaction to it. And I hope for those conventions in the future that we get to see a lot more of an online component
Uh-huh.
so that more and more people can participate without having to be in person if they don't want to be. Because that was one of the nice things about the last couple of years is like I was able to virtually attend some events that I've never been able
Yeah.
to before and see lots of stuff and people doing awesome things that I never would have gotten a chance to see before
Right.
because, you can't go to everything.
Yeah, this is very true. So I've basically taken it up the wing and I've gone to that little shepherd's hook at the top.
Is that what that's called?
No, I'm just using that as, oops, I kicked my table, as a descriptor for
Oh,
the shape.
I mean, that totally makes sense. I knew exactly what
Yeah.
you were talking about.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know what to call. See, this is where I seriously like. I want an anatomy book for monsters. What do we call these different?
yeah, I mean, Fizbins gave us a lot,
Yeah.
but that is not quite so much of
Yeah.
the specifics.
Yeah. Maybe it's in Strixhaven. No, I'm kidding. I'm joking off of the fact there are schools and stuff in Strixhaven.
That being, I mean, it's unfortunately not, but that being said, all of these schools in Strixhaven are were created by dragons. So, you
Mm-hmm.
know, maybe that's one of those things like your DM if you're running a Strixhaven game. Hey,
Dragon Anatomy 101.
yeah. I just want to know what's this piece of your anatomy called?
Yes. Excuse me. I have a question for you, Professor.
Mm-hmm. You've got really gorgeous wings. What's
What's
that
that
shepherd's
bit
hook
called?
actually called?
Yep.
Yeah.
And hope to God you don't get sent to the principal's office or the headmaster's office.
Or you do because that's
Or
the
you t-
dragon.
oh, there you go.
There you go. First hand knowledge.
Yep.
How do you know that's what that's called? Well, so I ended up being sent to the dean's office. And then while
Uh-huh.
I was there, I was like, hey, by the
Well,
way,
I gotcha.
learning experience.
Well,
No
I
reason
gotcha.
whatsoever.
Yeah. For no particular reason. I don't know why I just brought Cantriell for that one. No, actually, Cantriell would be the one going to the headmaster's office quite frequently.
There you go.
She doesn't do well with authority.
But while you're there,
Mm-hmm.
learn a little bit.
While I have your attention.
Yeah.
Quick question.
Whoops. I just got on
That's
the
okay.
membrane.
It's, oh God, and now I have
Green
that
on the membrane.
insane on the membrane. Yep.
And then the other side.
And then the other side. Yep. And
There's
really,
something kind of fun about just like tracing. I've got a this brush that you've recommended that we use is just the perfect right size
Yep.
to like basically trace
Yep.
the bones, and it's
it's
kind
like
of fun even
coloring
if I'm
book.
yeah, I'm not the best at it, but it's fun.
As long as it's fun, that's the whole point.
That's that kind of describes a lot of my life. I'm not the best at it, but it's fun.
Well, you're good at many things, though, so.
Aw, well, so are you.
We thank you.
I'm getting better at this mini painting thing, thanks to
Well,
you.
with practice and time, it comes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I am going to just feather that slightly on there. Okay.
But yeah,
There you go. Chugging along, getting our green on there.
this already looks like something that belongs in an anatomy book.
There
It's
you
just
go.
like, and now the
Right?
wing.
Whee!
Oh, I like this gray L shape saying, more importantly, as the artist, what do you want it to look like? That is a good question.
It is.
For any artist to think about. I think I am still a beginner when it comes to mini painting, and so right now my focus is on a little bit of the technique and then also just making it look like the thing.
Mhm.
Just like, okay, see those dargans on the bottom of the screen that we
Yep.
are emulating in ways, but mostly trying to make it look like that.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of my goal. And then, once I get some more techniques under my belt and I'm feeling a little more confident in my abilities, then my artistic inspiration can take flight. But until then, I just want it to look like a Dargan.
I mean, yeah.
So you, on a regular basis, do
Yes.
commissions. How often do people commission you to make a creature look like the creature, just a really incredibly well painted one? Or how often do people want something unique?
Well, when I was because I don't have time for commissions before anyone gets their hopes up. Commissions are closed.
Oh yeah, that's good to mention.
Commissions are closed, but when I was doing commissions, it was a good mix. You would have people who would reach out and be like, hey, here's this mini. Here's what I'm doing with it for my campaign. And obviously, like, one they would need it by. And some of them would send me reference art, whether it's official art or fan art that they had. I'm seeing this. I like how this looks. Can you emulate this style?
Mm-hmm.
Which is appreciated because, there are some styles I can't. It's just not in my artistic eye to kind of encapsulate that particular look. And I'd be honest with them if that was the case, though that rarely happened. But then there are some people who come in and instead of the more hyper realistic, make it look like the fan art and the official art exactly. It's like, okay, so I have this mini. Yes, it's a dragon, but can you make it look like an opal? So you'd get like people who'd come up with really creative takes on what they wanted for the miniature so that it would fit the homebrew factor of their campaign.
Nice.
Yeah. So it really, I want to say it was like 50-50 down the middle, especially when it came to beholders.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Beholders, that makes sense.
Beholders, yeah. I have only painted a beholder the same way once because they wanted it to look like the official cover of Monsters Manual, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they wanted
makes
to look
sense.
that beholder. Everyone else has been unique of their own design.
Including ours.
Yes. Now, personally, I tend to always go off the cuff and just do my own take on the colors. I have Umber Hulks that are actually Scarab Beetle Hulk in coloring. They're not the dark browns and everything.
Oh, that's cool.
And it actually came out really well. I was so happy I did that technique on it. So, yeah, it's a mix. It really is. And it's fun to do both. They have their own different challenges and their own rewards along the way. Ooh. Is that a number count that we're seeing? I saw someone just put 9.7 in the chat.
Oh, yeah. Jet Zero mentioned 9.7. We're getting close. Yeah, it might happen during this show. Might happen during Garwar. We don't know.
I mean,
I'm excited to see. We're so close.
I'm so excited. 9.8.
Ooh. Oh, jeez.
Ooh.
And we've learned a lot. Like we've done the community challenges before, but it's been a little while. And I think this is also the first time that we've done it where we have had some difficulties and where some stuff got canceled. And being able to redo some of that napkin math on the fly and try to be as fair as possible to everybody that's participating, as well as what the limitations are with doing this challenge with Twitch has been very informative. And awesome. The next time we do it, because we will be doing these more, because I mean, you tell me, chat, is this something people have been enjoying? It seems like it to me, but I don't want to assume.
Are you
also,
having
getting
fun?
More difficult figuring out where to grab the Durgan, but
I know. I'm trying to kind of hold tummy and the back fin.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of, I'm back legs right now as I move to, I've got the one wing down, and so I've moved to the other wing, and definitely starting to run out of places to hold.
I haven't even gotten to the other wing yet. You're moving along.
Well, you were talking extensively about your experiences with doing mini painting for custom orders, so I had a chance to catch up. That's what I'm going to call it, catching up. Actually, that being said, let me check in on the chat in our questions. Remember, if you do have questions for either V or I about mini painting, about Idle Champions, about holiday stuff, then let me know. Let the mods know by putting question in big capital letters at the beginning of your question so they can easily grab it. Naskura says the hook on a bat is actually called the thumb.
Ooh.
Now, bats don't have front legs with an opposable thumb, but I like the idea of a dragon being a much more advanced creature that has multiple thumbs. So wing thumb and an arm thumb.
Yeah. It makes sense, though, because now that it looks kind of like a hooked thumb.
Yeah. Makes sense to me.
Ooh, I like this. Okay, so we're going to call that the thumb instead of the shepherd's hook.
Yeah.
The wing thumb.
It's just the wing thumb, that's all.
Yep.
And this is, they say it's a silly question, but it is actually not a silly question, especially if this is your first time joining us with this dragon. Raspberry 777 says, is there a hole in the belly?
Yes.
And there is. And
right here.
Yep. And the reason there's a hole in the belly is because so there is a base that's where the base hooks into, as V is showing off expertly right
It's all
now.
about the base. I went there. I had to.
No trouble.
No trouble.
No trouble.
No trouble at all.
Yep. So yeah, that's why we were talking a little earlier about how when the dragon is on the base, it's kind of an off kilter. It's doing a an angled flyby,
Yeah.
and so that is where the base is inserted, which we painted last time on part one, and so it's kind of sitting to the side right now, waiting its for the dragon, I guess, to be done. Although I think you
We're
said we
doing
were
a
going to do
little base work because you wanted to do those crystals for the smaller stones.
yeah, the crystals, and then
Yeah.
a little bit of
Yeah.
a wash on it, probably, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I have a feeling what's going to happen is our last episode will be the base and some higher detail work on the dragon.
That makes sense.
Is how things are going to wrap up. I forgot how long it takes for these little details to get painted. Oh, hold on. There's a cat hair near my brush. One moment, please.
One moment, please. Cat hairs.
Cat hair interference.
How effective is cat hair as a
Oh,
part of
okay.
a brush?
Okay. As part of your brush, not great. However, this is probably going to throw me into the crazy cat lady category, but I've already lived there for quite a while. I discovered that every so often cats will shed their whiskers.
Yes.
I've discovered if you take a whisker, it's really great for making very tiny pupils because it's such a stiff and rigid component that it kind of acts like a brush bristle, but you get a lot more control over it.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Do not go after your cats and start pulling out whiskers or trimming them, though. That is not what I'm saying.
No, chances are, if you have a cat,
Yes.
at some point it
You'll
will shed
find
its
it,
whiskers, and you'll just get one, and then just save them up
it.
for those
That's
moments
all
that
you
you
have
need
to do.
pupils.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it helps for like those those wee minis for sure.
Does
Oh, see, Cuffing is like, oh, here, kitty, kitty, kitty. That's not what I am saying. No. Please no.
Is that a thing that like that's a fun way of getting those pupils, but I'd have to imagine there's probably a brush for that, right?
There are brushes and everything like that. It was more the type of thing I'm like, it's right there. I wonder because the brush I did have was not doing the trick because this was like a child mini. It was very small.
Ooh.
So trying to take one of the 28 millimeter child scale ones. Oh my gosh. So yeah, that was just my moment of inspiration, desperation, maybe a little bit of both.
Do you have any other suggestions for like those little tiny, 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 tiny? Like, is there something besides a brush you can go for, or
You
at that point is it just
oh no, there's
do your
definitely
best?
there are other tools you can put to use. There are these lovely, and it's a quote unquote investment, maybe about $10 tops. There is a there are tools, not is I. There are tools for nail painting. And they're metal. And they have like these long metal posts, but then instead of a bristle at the end of the brush, there are these little, almost like pinheads. So you can do these very precise dots. So
That makes
those are
sense.
also quite helpful. Toothpicks, nice sharp toothpicks will do the trick. Not the kind that have like the rounded edges, the ones that are like, you're spearing fruit.
For those fancy dinner parties,
Exactly.
when you're, in between mini painting and playing D&D, when you've got your charcuterie boards
There you go.
and I sound like I'm making fun, but I'm not. Like, I'm actually kind of a fan of like a good fruit spread.
Yeah, me too.
So good.
They're yummy. All right, I need to go out of frame because I have an angle I cannot see with the camera in my face.
That's okay. I've got more questions to grab. I see them coming in at the on the side of on the corner of my eye. I see them coming on in as I'm continuing to do wings things.
Things.
Okay. Also, thank you once again to our mods. You're awesome.
Yes. Very much so.
All right.
back.
Jamaica Yielding says, can the next one be a creative challenge? I'm out of channel points now. Well, think about it. I know the next one isn't going to happen for a little while. I mean, not just because we don't have any streams over the break, but the next one will probably be at least a week or two once we get started again in the new year. But we are always interested in challenges. I do want to keep the community challenge as something in where when you all unlock it, everybody gets something.
Mm-hmm.
I know we've had some suggestions of like, a certain thing happens on stream or things like that, but and I'm not opposed to that. I like the idea that if we're asking our community to stop by on a regular basis and donate their channel points, that eventually it's going to be something that everybody's going to get for it, and those chests are super fun to give away. So hopefully we'll get there soon. Where are we? We are at 9,877,834.
Look at that.
So close.
We're
so
there.
close.
Okay. I am the excited.
Ooh, Trusty Gumshoe is an interesting question.
Oh.
If you were in a Secret Santa with a bunch of dragons, which color dragon would you hope gets you a present, and which color would you hope didn't pick you to get a gift? And I will preface this by saying, because there's probably some people in the chat who might not know what a Secret Santa is, but Secret Santa it's something that you often do with large groups, and where like office parties often do it, or large groups of friends. It's a really good thing to do when a bunch of people want to get gifts for each other, but it's prohibitively expensive to get gifts for a bunch of people. So everybody puts names in a hat, and you pick out a name at random, and so everybody gets one gift for one person, and thus everybody gets a gift. But you don't know who you're getting from or giving to until it happens.
Yeah, they're also known as, AKA, white elephant parties.
Yeah, although the white elephant parties, I think, are the ones in where you don't get a gift for a specific person.
You can swap them around if you want to.
Yeah, you just get a gift, and then there's like rules about who can. Those are fun too. I like those as well, because then that takes the pressure off of, hey, we're gonna have a gift exchange party, or we're gonna get together over the holidays, and no one feels like, oh, I gotta get a gift for everybody.
Right.
Because you know what? Money.
Exactly.
Money is a thing.
That boy, that adds up.
But okay, dragons.
Dragon. Yeah.
I mean, I know the easy answer to who I don't want a gift from would be any of the chromatics. However, I would also say, if I had to give a specific, I always get this wrong. Is it the copper or the bronze that are the pranksters? I think it's the copper.
Yeah.
I think it's the copper. I always have to look it up.
I want to say copper, because isn't the bronze the one that's more like fascinated by humans?
I think so. Yeah. So the copper dragon that are the pranksters, I don't want to gift from them, because you know that it's just a box filled with confetti or glitter or both. You know that's what it is. It's a prank gift, and it's a gift for everybody else to get a good laugh in. And you know what? While I am all for giving a good laugh to people, I don't want it to be at my expense.
I agree. Plus glitter. Oh God, not glitter.
Plus glitter. I mean, I did that to all of you in our one shot. Well, not all of you, because most of you walked away from that chest. But I knew.
Certain someone I knew he was up to no good.
For those of you who didn't watch our Extra Life game,
so
Dragons for Dinner, there was an incident with a chest, and sometimes as a DM you just get over the top with putting things out there that everyone knows is a trap, and you watch in glee as some of your players are just super happy to press those trap buttons.
Yep.
So yeah. I won't ruin the surprise, but there's a moment that is so obviously, hey, this is not a good idea. And Todd did it anyway, and I appreciate him.
Oh my gosh, absolutely.
It was super fun.
That was such a great game. Oh, I want to do it again.
I had so much fun with everybody, so. But that is off. Yeah, that is off topic.
Well, I mean, it's still about Dragonborns.
That's true. That's true. So who would you like to get or not like to get a gift from in a Secret Santa?
Okay. Would love to get a gift from, and this is because of my birthstone, an amethyst.
Ooh.
Yes. Just because of that connection. Would not want to get a gift from Tiamat.
Nah.
Nope. She and I have had many dealings over the past few months. I'm good. We don't need presents between the two of us.
Yeah. That being said, considering Whittle got the Book of Vile Darkness, which, say what you will about good versus evil versus what your alignment is.
Mm-hmm.
But that is a pretty powerful
That was
book.
a sweet gift, yeah.
Yeah, if you don't care about being evil and wanting to do evil things, and you're just looking for power, oh, Book of Vile Darkness.
Yeah. I guess if she
That's
was
a gift
talking
and a
with
half.
Nika, that'd be a different story then, huh?
Yeah.
You'd be
Yeah.
like, yes, please. I'll
I
take
hadn't
it.
even been thinking about some of the gem dragons, but that's right.
Yeah. I love the gem dragons.
They're super
I'm
cool.
hooked. Speaking of hook, that wasn't even intentional, folks.
I love it. I think
I'm
it
going to the
was, and
thumb.
I'm going to give you credit for it.
Thank you.
Oh, I missed a spot right there.
Yeah,
I think
that's
I'm at the
definitely a
point
thing.
where I'm just looking for spots.
Yeah, I'm almost donesies, sort of. Like I said,
Yeah,
there's a lot of green happening today.
there is, but
Ooh.
not a surprise, right?
No.
Like young green dragon, lots of
Yeah,
green.
exactly.
I just like that we're
Apparently,
getting all the texture of the green.
me too. I'm looking in the chat and under 100k left to go.
Ooh, exciting.
That is very exciting.
Yeah, I'm definitely at the point where I'm just looking for places I missed
Nothing wrong
or
with that.
especially on these the bony bits that we're getting on the
Yeah.
wing. A lot of them have little tiny ridges that I didn't
Mm-hmm.
even notice until I first painted it, and
Yep.
then the paint didn't quite get into whatever crack it
Yeah.
was. And it's like, oh, I kind of half missed a spot right there.
Yeah. Ruffles have ridges.
Yeah, and so do wings.
Yup.
There we go. But
That
this
was
is
a good
coming along.
question.
This is coming along pretty good.
I liked that question. Very nice.
As for who I'd want to get a present from,
Yeah.
oh, that's a good question. I'm not gonna say gold because I feel like the gold. Listen, I'm all for charity and I'm all for doing good and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Do feel like the gold dragon would be that kind of haughty dragon that's like, I donated money to Extra Life in your name, and that's one of those like, that is so nice and sweet
Right.
and lovely. And I'm gonna be just kind of egotistical here, and I want a present. Like, like, all right, give me a present.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say there's you know what? You know who I want a present from? I want a present from Red Dragons. Because
okay, I'm
because
intrigued.
here's the thing. Red Dragons just love gold. They're just your cliche, give me that
The
gold.
hoarders, yep.
And I feel like the gift card I would get from a Red Dragon would be amazing. Like, they're getting me that Visa gift card with like
Visa gold
10,000
gift
gold
card.
pieces on it. And they're just
Yep.
like, here you go.
Yep.
I did not want to have to deal with this. So here you go. Just take and go away.
Right. I love that you jump into Arkira for that.
Or Kira ends up being that gruff voice ends up being a
Yeah.
lot of my
yeah.
dragon
See, that's good to
dragonborn.
know.
Yeah, that voice before it was Orkira, in my podcast game is basically a bartender of a inn and tavern in Waterdeep called the Golden Rock Tavern that my players frequent quite a lot.
Amazing.
The guy who runs it is an old monk named Gestak. And I did not realize that voice. This is Gestak. Gestak is just this guy. He runs this tavern, and Orkira's a little more up here and a little more, And Gestak actually has deep thoughts about things, and is old. So every once in a while, I drop into Gestak, and then someone's got to make an Orkira comment. I'm like, technically
not.
first.
See, that's
Also,
interesting to know.
Yeah, I need to grab one of the tiny
Yes,
brushes.
we're gonna.
'cause
I
there's
was
a
just gonna
spot.
say. Actually, that's good because we're gonna switch to the teeny brushes because I just finished getting all the details done on the wings.
Ooh.
And I feel like I'm like one of those cheesy, but wait, there's more. But really, there is. But wait,
There's always
there's
more.
more. We're going to keep using that dark green. And you can see on the frill here, there are these spikes that are happening. So those
Yes.
spikes are going to get the dark green, whereas the frill will get the lighter green that we're going to hopefully start applying soon. If you hear odd meowing and scritching, I have a cat who is hell-bent on getting into my room. I do not allow him in my room while streaming, however, because he likes to chew on cords.
Oh yeah, that'd be bad.
That
That'd
would
be
be
super,
very
super
bad.
bad.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm going to jump down to my 10 over 0.
Is that what I grabbed? Ah, that's the one that I grabbed too.
Super. See? Look at
Thank you.
that. You
It's
got
so
it.
small.
Well, hi. I see CBs in the chat.
Oh, hi. I also think I saw Urban Bohemian in the
Yes.
chat
Oh,
too.
lovely. I didn't see herbs. Oh. Well,
Oh,
hey,
yep.
delayed hey.
We've got all the friends on a Friday. Welcome,
Yay.
welcome.
Thank you. Good to see everyone joining us.
Ooh, and we've got much more questions in chat while we take care of
I
the
love much more questions from chat.
frills down
The spikes
going down the
between
tail.
the frills. That sounds like a book. The
Um,
spikes between the frills.
Yeah, actually, I could. Yeah, let's talk to Aaron M. Evans. Let's see if
There
we
we
can
go.
get that going. Yeah,
I think we should.
spikes between the frills. Cruciferius Kale says, so no Electrum chests for the next 2 weeks. Not from streams on the C&E channel. As you can probably imagine, there's a lot of places that are going a little dark during the holidays, and so it's going to be a little bit less. But I know there's still some podcasts that are going.
Yeah.
I know there's still some other of our third-party friends who are streaming,
Right.
and there will be other alerts for some other things. Let's just say that we've got some fun things that are being added to our YouTube channel, and we'll be putting out some alerts for that, and those will have some Electrum chests if
There
you
you
go
go.
there. So yeah,
So-
not quite as many, but still something to look forward to.
So this is intentional. Be on the alert.
Be on the alert. I like it. I like it very much. Considering much of my afternoon is scheduling those alerts,
boy, yeah.
I appreciate it very much.
There you go.
Dirtier Laundry says, fun fact, Secret Santa is called Wichtelin in German, which means
Ooh.
something like elfing. Like everyone is being one of Santa's elves for someone else.
Oh, how
Oh,
adorable.
I like that.
Me
I
too.
like that so much. And then we've got some excellent questions about our paints. Hey, it's Lion's Eye wants to know, what paints are you using today? I am using the game color from the Vallejo
Yeah.
line, which is a nice set that you can pick up that has a bunch of the basics and a couple of extra paints in there. Everything that I use is, if you go to our Discord, which is discord.gg/idlechampions, we list off in the Paint and Slay channel all of the basic products that you need to paint along with us. And that is exactly what I use. So if you want to paint along with us, everything I am using is from there. And then V often experiments with some other fun stuff. Are you using that same paint or using
I
something?
am staying with the game color for this grouping because you have a lot of the same colors that way.
Excellent.
Since we're not blending just red, yellow, and blue together in various forms, I wanted to make sure I had the same game color line going.
There you go.
I use everything from Vallejo to Citadel to plaid. Yes, I use craft paints on my miniatures. They work.
Use what works. Use what you like.
Yeah. And just a good variety, quite frankly.
Yeah. And yeah, if you check out that list, it includes the brushes that we use. It includes the mini that we're using at any one time. The last couple minis have been WizKids minis that are readily available from your local game store, or if you do not have a local game store, you can get them from, say, an Amazon. And we try to keep it nice and simple. And definitely the nice thing is you'll have an initial investment that is not going to be too much of getting like the paints and the brushes and the mini. And then the paints and the brushes, like I've used the same brushes and the same paints for all of the minis that we've done so far. And I've still got plenty to use. So it's a little bit of initial investment, but a lot of the stuff you just use over and over and over again. And it's super fun. So, and then the rest of it is like paper plates and paper cups and paper towels. And, you know, we give some suggestions for washes that you can get into, but we've also been showing how to make washes. So you don't necessarily have to purchase all of that stuff. We did one mini where we did a little bit of kit bashing for our beholder. And so that included some green stuff. But yeah, it's basically just the brushes and the paints are the initial
Yeah.
investment.
And you're probably looking at about maybe $30 in the beginning.
Yeah,
I
I
gotta
think
pull
that's
off
all.
camera.
I think that's all it was.
Yeah.
It was really not that bad. You know,
Yeah.
everybody's mileage may vary with what you're able to spend on anything.
Yeah.
But we try to keep it as reasonable as possible.
Yeah. If you really want to keep it reasonable, remember when I said craft paints? Those are 4 ounce bottles, usually anywhere between 50 to 150 US dollar, US cents type of thing. So $1.50 to 50 cents USD. And you can use those. You can get used to how it feels painting miniatures, how paint goes onto miniatures, how you can blend, etc., etc. And then when you feel ready to make more of an investment, that's where you can start getting the miniature line paints if you so choose.
There you go. Yeah, and once again, like as long as you're having fun, that's the most important part.
It
So
really,
don't feel
yeah,
like yeah,
it
don't
really
feel like you
is.
have to spend a lot of money and do a lot of work if you want to get into mini painting, um, and paint what you like. Oh, I keep finding these bits that I've missed. Ah,
Uh-oh.
these wings. Oh,
The
these
wings.
wings.
I'm sorry, folks, but this is an awkward angle. I don't think I can get this with the camera in face.
Mr. Blips says maybe the red dragon will gift you a gold dragon.
Oh, funny.
You know, that's
I
you're
wouldn't.
not
I
wrong.
wouldn't say no.
I would hope the gold dragon's still alive.
Right? I wouldn't say that's. I wouldn't say no that might be an option. That's for sure.
Yeah. I got you gold dragon.
You wanted the gold? I got your gold right here.
There you go. That would be irony right there.
Mm-hmm.
Raspberry 777 says, I play on the PS4. Do I miss out on anything that PCs have? With the game, no, we try to keep all of our platforms as equal as possible as far as updates and everything. There are some differences with release schedules because sometimes you know every platform has its own requirements when it
Exactly.
comes to releasing things. So sometimes you'll see an update happen on one platform first,
Yeah.
but we try to keep those as close as possible. And sales, sometimes, especially with the consoles, you will see differences in sales because that is once again
Just
we got to deal with all of the differences in platforms.
very true.
But as far as the content in the game, as far as playing the game and the way the game works, unless you're talking about like a very, very, very recent update that might need an extra couple of hours slash days to get to you, the game should be the same.
Yeah.
Oh, we've got more fun facts about Secret Santa.
Ooh.
Gleesher says there's also Schrot, Wix, Wixton, Wickton. Oh, I need Luke here to help with the German.
Oh.
See, that might be that might be a guttural. Wishtillen?
Here, pop it in our
Wishtillen.
Zoom chat. I want to see what this word looks like now. I want to see this word.
It's really not a hard word. I think I'm just failing at it, but let me grab this because I was able to say it before, but I might have said it very, very wrong. Here we go. Zoom chat. There you go. And I will continue. Give that another go for me.
Schrottweichten.
That's that might be a Vike.
Because the W is usually turned into the V's. Yeah. Weichten.
Yeah. It's the same as Victalin, but you gift stuff you get gifted yourself and you don't want. It's re-gifting.
Oh, is that an L or is that an I? Sorry, because it's far away from my face. That's an L.
Oh, that looks like an L.
Weichteln.
Victalin.
Cool. Learn something new.
Yeah, like official regifting, not the kind of regifting that you do and then you like keep on the down low.
Yeah. I don't know where this came from. I have no idea. Ooh.
I mean, it's still in the box, so it must be new, right?
Totally. Absolutes.
And we've got Alfelker in chat asking about question. I know how much does the texture of the figure affect the end color? Ooh, interesting question.
With any texture, because this is the nature of light and shadow. If you have something that has a lot of texture to it and it's deeper textures involved, obviously the more recessed areas will have a darker tone to it, whereas the higher levels will look lighter just because of how the light's playing off of it. It's, from my experience, it's less the actual texture of the miniature and more the consistency of the paint. So if the paint is extremely thick, you're going to kind of have this blanket of coverage, and it'll sort of remove the details and the depth of the texture. If you thin your paint out more and further, then you'll find that some of the paint will gather more in the recessed areas, and as it dries becomes darker, whereas the layer, or not the layer, the level that's higher up, it almost gets like a thinner layer because the paint has been thinned out, so it ends up drying slightly lighter.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And also, because this dragon had so many details to begin with, I know that was one of the reasons that you had us do a wash
yeah.
first to help bring out that texture first,
Yeah.
which I would imagine in a very, very, very small way is going to affect the green
does.
color, but in the best way.
Right there. This is what I want to show you. So you can see here, you
Yeah.
can see there are these shadows that have been created because of the black wash. Because I've thinned my paint out the way I have to that consistency, that black wash is actually playing through the green, looking darker as a result. Whereas the green that's on the higher points looks lighter now because the black wash isn't underneath there, or as thickly, I should say. So because the black wash pooled and dried in the more recessed areas, I'm now getting more shadow play happening on the texture of the dragon, which is always fun to play around with undertones.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's why I like doing it.
And then they had a follow-up question. As in, do you need to think stronger blue to get your blue on different figures versus another figure? So, yeah, I think
it's more the paint than the miniature itself. And anytime you paint, and I saw someone bring up in the chat, and this is a given with miniature painting, you don't want to slather on thick layers. I have said this before in other streams. You want to go thin layers with your minis, even if you have to go back and paint in more. Same thing like what we did with the red with the Beholder clown hat. We did, I think that was 3 layers of red paint. Because it's better to go thinner layers and apply, and that way you can build up on the color, as opposed to doing this very thick layer of the paint, and then you're going to run the risk of diminishing details, of making it look more plastic, because guess what? That paint has plastic in it. So thin coats are the way to go with minis. You can always build up on your paint colors. It is far harder to take away and remove. So just that's a flat, standard, run-of-the-mill going across any type of miniatures. Thinner is better.
Thinner is better. Also, we are so close to our goal.
I saw that just pop up.
Yeah. Our community challenge goal is so close. Remember, we are only looking for 10 million points because we had a couple of streams get canceled.
Yes.
So we did lower that number, but and yeah, I'm also seeing a lot of wonderful people in chat agreeing the Real Bunny Beast, less is more. Morty Rock says looks better thinned in my opinion. So yeah. I think that is also one of the biggest things I've learned and I'm still working on. And you can see I've been better at it with some parts of this dragon than others, and where I've gone a little too thick, I think. Just learning that, especially that first layer of paint, being more either gentle with it or using the water down a lot more, because I've definitely needed to learn.
Yep. And that's also why I explain paint and textures for food, because you'll get paints that come out as toothpaste. You get paints that come out more like ketchup. You'll get paints that come out as almost skim milk. So when you know the textures you're working with of the paint, not the miniature, it'll help you know what you need to do. There are times I won't thin paint because I know how I'm going to be using it. Doesn't really need it. But there are times where you definitely want to make sure you thin your paint out. And make sure it is clean water, please, not your brush wash water. I got exactly like that. Yeah, and
then the third one over here is the one I drink out of.
Yes, that's a very important distinction. And let's see, the other thing you want to keep in mind is talking about thinning. Oh yes, if you want, as a fun little agent to help with your water that you use for thinning, you can put like the tiniest little touch of dish detergent into the water, and it helps with the flow.
Ooh,
it's a fun little cheap trick that you can do with your paint.
Interesting.
Okay, so bugga. I'm looking at the time that we have and the surface area we have to cover.
Yes.
So what I'm thinking is we're going to work on getting the frill painted up now that we've gotten the spikes done. And that's just going to be straight up goblin green. That way, if for some reason we run out of time, we don't have to worry about mixing.
Now is the time and where we shake our paints. Yeah, because this is the one that also it looks weird when it's not.
It's
shaken
like triple
up.
colors. You get a turquoise, you get a yellow, and then you get this odd brown. But when you mix it together, it turns into this. Hold on, pull it back. It turns into this yellowy green color, which I love. And do you have to replace the water during a paint? It depends on the size of the project. I usually tend to refresh my water when it starts looking really murky for rinsing my brushes. But I have a separate thing for thinning. So that tends to stay cleaner much longer. But
and we had a related question from Alfalker. If you've gone too thick, is there a way to fix or repair it, or do you have to get a new figure?
You can strip your paint off your miniature. You could try the trick of going in with rubbing alcohol. It has to be at least 70%, and running it over to sort of reactivate the paint, essentially. And you can try pulling the paint off and seeing if you can thin it out that way. Or just remove the paint entirely and start fresh with that miniature. Chances are, though, if you're doing a WizKids miniature that's been primed ahead of time, you will need to then prime the miniature, then start over again with paint. So you can strip the paint off.
But it sounds like if you go too thick, it is a learning experience.
It is a learning experience, yes.
Yeah. And it also sounds like if you go too thick, what you lose is some details, but it's not like it's going to ruin the mini or anything.
And again, the 3-foot rule. This is going to be 3 foot on a table away from you. So it's not like you can't still use the mini or it's going to ruin the feel of having the mini on the table or anything like that. The more you do it, the more you're going to develop your skills, the more you'll be able to feel what the paint is going to be doing. It comes with practice. It's with any trade, with any art.
Yeah.
It comes with practice. So don't let your, oh my gosh, I painted this on too thick, become a deterrent for you. It's like, okay, painted it on too thick this time. Got to keep it in mind for next time.
There you
Simple
go.
as that.
And I think I see you watering down this goblin green for this frill.
I was just going to say, speaking of thinning, I am thinning it down again because mine came out almost like toothpaste, which I don't want. So we're going again for the, I'm going to start saying this, warm maple syrup consistency. Plus, it's just fun to say warm maple syrup. And I'm sticking with the 10/0.
Yeah, this tiny, because I'm looking at this frill, and I'm like, this is gonna be small. This is gonna be a small one.
This is a bitty boy. So I'm just gonna work up one side and then flip it around and go to the other. It's gonna be.
And was there a specific reason you started at literally the tail end, or was that just the end you decided to go with? It's
easier for me to expose the longest to the audience if I have to pull it off frame.
That makes sense.
Yep.
I figured there might be a reason.
Yeah, it's more what can I have facing camera longest as opposed to starting from the other side, and it's going to be a lot of twisting and turning and pulling away from frame.
Yeah.
That way people can kind of see what I'm getting established technique-wise before I start drifting. But basically just going onto this frill.
Oh yeah, I'm glad we went with the tiny brush.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah.
Is tiny.
Yeah.
I love the difference in the green though. I love how stark it is, and yet it is still 100% green dragon green.
Oh yeah. And in this case, I did look at the official artwork to kind of inspire this painting of this particular Dargan. If anyone was curious.
There is the official art, and then also if you look at the bottom of our screen, you can see 2 different dragons. We grabbed both the young and the
adult, isn't it?
I think it's the adult. I can't remember if we got the young and the adult. I'm blanking on it now, but one of the other sizes, just because it's a little easier to see some of those details on the older one. So if you're looking at the screen, the one on the right is technically the young one. That's the one we're painting. The one on the left, I believe it's the adult. But it's a
Yep.
little easier to see some of the details, especially in the wings and in that frill that's
Yeah.
going on down the back. So I thought it was
Absolutely.
definitely worth having both of those up on the screen,
Oh yeah.
um, because there isn't so much of a difference between the two.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes as dragons get older, their the
Their
kind of
colors,
color
yeah.
changes.
Yeah.
So that's always something to keep in mind. But this one wasn't such a big difference,
Yeah.
and
I gotta
I,
pull off frame because angle.
yeah, tiny little frill, tiny little
Painting
frill.
tiny little frills.
Yeah. Now I'm guessing. Ow, ow! Spike
That's
in
gonna
my
bite.
thumb.
That's
Ow.
gonna bite. Tiamat actually hurt me. My Tiamat Maxiture. I'm not kidding. Girl decided to reach out one day with a talon on her wing and like scrape the side of
Oh,
my arm.
jeez.
Like I actually had to put a band-aid on it. Drew blood. Same thing happened to B Dave.
I mean, they're big. They're big. Those
Right?
spikes are big,
I
and
swear
you're
she's
like,
out to
well,
get us.
yeah, it's plastic. It can't be so bad. And then the
Yeah.
next thing you know, you got plastic in your thumb.
Yep.
Um, do we think the frill is going to be one of those we're going to want to re-go over again with another coat?
I don't think we'll need to go over with another coat. We are going to do some dry brush with it
Ah, okay.
to really bring out this texture, and then we'll do a wash on the frill. And I think I'm going to go with an Agrex on that is what I chose for the frill.
Ah,
So yeah, that right now this is a very vibrant green looking dragon. It is going to be muted down because we are going to jump into using some washes, which I always keep in mind whenever I'm painting.
yeah. And you know what? I'm also looking at this. I'm like, oh, well, if it stays a vibrant green, I'm also okay with it.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing wrong with either of those. But
No.
I'm looking forward to like at least having some control over where the vibrancy is, because
Yes.
I am also a fan of rough looking wings.
Yeah.
Wings that look like they have seen some flight.
There you go. So you could always did you get the BL10 wash?
I'll have to look. There was
Yeah.
one that didn't come in. I did spend a little bit and get some washes.
Uh-huh.
But I don't remember. There was one that I ordered that the local game store is just like, oh yeah, we have all these, and then just one never
Never
came in, and they're like, I'm
shoot.
really sorry. I don't know why. It just never came.
Yep.
So I got to look into that. I don't remember
Yeah.
which one it is.
Cuz you could always do the BL10 and that's a more vibrant green wash to keep the vibrancy
Ooh,
but bring out the details in the frill.
that's a good idea.
Yeah.
And we also had an in-game question come in from the lame. Sorry, I have a question. Oh, don't be sorry.
No, no,
We're
sorry for
more
that.
than happy to answer what questions we
Yeah.
can from the game. In the event you don't have a free time gate.
Pardon me.
So our events are different from time gates. The events let you, over the course of just about a week and a half, unlock new champions, one of whom just came out a couple of days, well, at this point, almost a
A
week
week
ago,
ago, yeah.
Yorvin. And then free time gates usually happen in between events,
Yeah.
but we're at the end of the year. And so the schedule is a little different just because of end of the year stuff. So normally there would be an event and then a time gate weekend and then an event and then a time gate weekend. But for December, we've got two events in a row. So you got to wait a little longer on another free time gate, but you will get another fun event. So a little bit more time to earn time gate pieces as well, and then it'll be a fun event, and you'll get some more champions.
Mm-hmm.
But normally you're right. Normally in between you'll get the free time gate weekend. This is what happens when those of us who live in the real world do our best to conform our calendar to the Faerunian calendar, which is slightly different,
Yes.
just slightly.
There's really not going to be a great way for me to show the angle of this because we have wingage in the way. But I'm getting the
Wingage.
other side of the frill right now. I can see it. I know the camera's probably not really showing it as well, though.
Yeah, I'm just about to move on to the other side of the frill.
There
Here,
you go.
I'll do my best to show that side off.
Ooh, there you go. I'm seeing so close in the chat. I'm guessing our number is getting closer and closer.
Oh, let's check. Let's check. Where are we? Oh,
How close are we?
um, we need like 3,000 more points.
Stop.
I just pulled it up. Oh, we did it!
Yay!
We did it!
Huzzah!
Yay! And I say we, I mean
You!
the viewers at home.
That's
We've made it.
amazing.
We've made it to, like, literally, as I pulled it up, it was like 9
Thank
million. It was within
you.
2,000 points. And then
Amazing.
I looked back and just went.
Boop. I love it. I love it. I love it. Y'all are awesome.
I wonder if there were a bunch of people
Seriously.
who were like, I'm waiting for my donation so that I can be the donation
one.
for 10 million. And then all of a sudden it went.
That is incredible. Look at y'all
So
go.
for the entire community, this will be available for a little while, and I'm sure it'll propagate out to all of the fun places that the community posts about chess codes. You have unlocked one gold chest for the 3 champions that are currently available in the event. So it's going to be a gold chest for Yorvin, a gold chest for Lucius, and a gold chest for Krull. So please enjoy. And yeah, that should be appearing in chat shortly. It will be in chat momentarily, and that will be available for I think it's good for a week. Like normally our chests, because we understand that there's people who are not watching right now, who have been donating channel points over the course of this week. So this is going to be one of those that will be available for at least a week, so everyone will have a chance to get it and redeem it. Yay. Ooh, someone got a free epic for Krull.
Nice.
Marik. Nice. Congratulations. Yeah, so a little fun bonus from the week as a thank you for your channel points, as a thank you for the end of the year, and as a thank you for participating in the event.
So did the green dragons give the gift? Is that what we're saying?
I guess, yeah. I guess what we've learned today is green dragons give the best gifts.
Yep.
I love it. We have all been proven wrong today.
Go with the green.
Always go with the green, because they bring excellent gifts for your champions.
They bring the gold. I had to.
I mean, you're not wrong. How am I missing the top of this frill? What?
You have to run your brush along the edge now.
I did not realize until I
because
looked
it's like
at it
a 3D.
and I went, oh,
yeah.
How did I possibly miss the top of it?
Now you run it along the top. You get the sides, and you do the top. I was just about to say.
Oh, jeez.
And you realized it just as I was like, and then
the top.
And then the top.
Yeah, I'm still doing the frill. I just happened to move it in a specific way. Oh, there we go. Oh, that's the Paint and Slay code. Oop. I'm looking for the I'm looking so I can at least say it out.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for it to come up so I can say it.
That's fair.
So I'm keeping an eye on the chat.
I've got my eye.
Oh, there we go.
Oh,
so it's Simroll Challenge with an exclamation point. So remember to add that exclamation point in. That is part of the code.
I'm just loving seeing all the excitement right now, because that's amazing.
People have been working on that all week long, and there was worry when a whole bunch of the
has concerns.
yeah, we were all a little worried when a couple of shows got canceled, when I couldn't do sketching hour because of my internet being out, and it was like, I was so upset. That was also not a thing. Happy.
A lot of people were losing their internet, and then we had the whole Twitch debacle the next day.
Yeah.
Good heavens. So, but thank you again, everyone. It's amazing.
Yay! Thank you for sticking with us through all of the internet issues. And yeah.
I love it.
And now I've got to get this frill. Now I'm going to move off screen because I'm having an awkward. I'm doing the awkward.
Doing the awkward angles. So once you get the frill done, you're still going to stick with just pure goblin green.
Okay.
And then we're going to move to the wings.
Ooh.
So we're going to add this to the flesh of the wings. We're going to do something a little different for the underbelly.
Ooh.
And I have made sure to keep the paint thinned, especially because of all of the texture. TM.
And so this is just the exact same goblin green we've been using, the exact same.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
I'm just going to start putting it onto the wing. We're going to wing it. I I find it's easier to do the undersides of the wings first. I don't know why, but I just realized that is a go-to habit of mine with Dargans.
Huh. Probably just how you like holding
I
the
think
dragon,
so.
maybe?
Yeah.
Oh, and I gotta do a quick fix. I got
okay.
Goblin Green where I didn't want Goblin Green. Sorry, Goblin Katie.
I know. I keep thinking of Goblin Cating every time I'm saying Goblin Green.
Just mop that up there.
There you go.
All right, and then I'm assuming because we're going to the wings, we're moving to a bigger brush.
Yeah, I would go to a bigger brush just to help the paint smooth out more
Okay.
easily. You
What
can.
size brush did you grab?
I went back to our number one. Number one.
Number one.
Singular sensation. And
Oh,
that's
we
all
probably should actually
yes.
finish the community challenge at this point.
Oh yeah.
Stop it. So if our mods would like to go ahead and do
that's
that.
an idea.
Yeah. Since we are done.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess I'm grabbing one wing while I'm doing the other.
That's kind of what I'm doing right now. Plan of attack. And you'll also find it helps to run the brush with the texture of the wings as opposed to working against the texture. Because you want to make sure you are getting this paint into the recesses. It's not like we're doing a dry brush with it.
Oh yeah, I can definitely feel the difference.
Yeah, it'll pull a lot more differently if you go against the grain. Literally the grain of the leathery skin. The flesh.
Fleshy.
The fleshy
leather. Wings.
Yeah.
I just noticed Valenex, time to save channel points for the next time CNE runs a challenge like this.
There you go.
Well, if everybody enjoyed that, we are thinking of running a lot more stuff like this. So
it is good to know if you enjoyed this process.
Yeah, go ahead, mods. I'm just gonna say it. We should be able to complete the actual challenge that's in the Twitch chat, so that so we can close that out, so people aren't accidentally donating more channel points when we're done.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I am seeing a lot more people. I know I asked this earlier, but I'm once again seeing people in chat who are like, "Yes, we need more of this." So I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah,
I'm super
great
glad.
To hear.
I also I like doing this kind of stuff because while it's slightly disruptive to chat because you see all these notifications come in, but it's like a free fun thing that everybody can do. Everybody participates together. And I kind of like that. I like that community aspect of it. So
absolutely.
Basically, the thing we need to reevaluate is how best to continue to do that kind of thing when every once in a while the math that we've done goes wrong. It's like, well, we said that there was going to be 12 shows this week, and now there's only 10. What happens?
Yeah.
So, but I think that is doable. And when we dropped the number of challenge points, that really wasn't that wasn't too much confusion to everybody.
No.
I think people understood what was going on.
I think it was a fair, honestly, quick change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It kind of sucks that we can't change the verbiage that's in the actual community challenge in Twitch.
Yeah.
But we kept everybody apprised, and it's a good change that we did. So I don't think, it wasn't like we had people coming into the chat going, "I am upset that you've lowered the requirements in order to get this challenge."
I'm annoyed you've made this far more achievable.
Okay. Yes. How dare you make this easier?
How dare?
How dare?
The nerve of some.
See, now that I've learned about going with the grain, trying to get into like the little recesses in the corner of these wings is a little more challenging.
It is. It absolutely is. But I'm also liking, because now you can start seeing, wait, no flying away yet, honey. Can see how this is actually starting to take form.
Oh, yeah. Oh, definitely.
Yeah. This is always like my favorite part.
It's also nice after doing the frill down the back to go back to something a little bit larger, a little bit easier.
Yeah. Agreed.
And so is our goal before the end of
I'm hoping,
this
yeah,
show to
the
finish the
wings.
wings?
Yeah, that's my hope. I'm
Okay.
hoping we can get the wings, which means we'll have underbelly and start working on some of the smaller details and dry
That makes
brushing
sense.
next week. Not next week. No,
Next
next
year.
year. Oh my
Yeah.
god. Oh my god.
Yep, we're gonna do more Green Dragon, and then we've got some more fun stuff.
Yeah.
We'll make those announcements in the new year. We're finalizing how many more for the Green Dragon we're gonna have, and then
Yeah.
what else is gonna be coming after the Green Dragon. We'll
Right?
we'll announce that in the new year, probably first in the Discord, and then on air and everything.
Yeah.
So you'll have plenty of time to collect your minis, to purchase your minis, to
Yes.
join us.
Gotta catch them
Uh,
all.
I am excited for what we're looking at,
I am too.
and I'm also excited to get this one in all the paints. That's a thing, right?
It
In
is.
paints,
In paint.
in paint.
Absolutely in
Um,
paint.
and if you're watching this on our YouTube, if you're catching up over the holidays, you have plenty of time
Exactly.
to join us if you'd like to join us for part 3 so that you can join us in the new year
Yeah.
with your already painted Dargan.
Dark and
You can
boy.
still come to the discord.gg/idlechampions, and all of the information for what you need for the dragon is pinned in the Paint and Slay channel, including all the previous
Yeah.
creatures that we did, so that if you do want to go back and paint along with us for we did Myconids, and we did a carrion crawler, and we did the Xanathar, the clown Xanathar, which is still amazing. You can join us for all of those too,
Absolutely.
and then do what I do, which is display them proudly on a shelf,
I
because
mean,
all of
I
my
do.
games are online, and so I just like displaying my minis proudly.
I still do it. I always have fun keeping the most recent paint ones out for a little while longer. All right, so here's the
Mm-hmm.
one side of the wing all done up. That fun to see?
Nice.
That's always fun to see. It's like, ah.
I am almost there. I'm working on that
Yeah.
last little bit on the top of the wing.
So I think what I'm going to do is do one wing and then the other. Is how I'm going to plan of attack this one.
Oh. See,
Right.
I was thinking the other way. I was thinking do the
Do
back of
whatever
the wing.
whatever you feel most comfortable doing, then by all means do that.
Because I'm just thinking about where I'm grabbing one wing to do the other
Yeah.
wing. So
Yeah.
maybe it's because I'm thinking that way, but
No, do whatever feels like the best approach. Whatever your comfort zone is.
I mean, whatever my comfort zone is, I know for a fact I'm just getting paint all over my hands.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I'm okay with that.
Yep. It's not easy being green.
It will be very easy to be green, actually. It's super easy in this moment to be very green. But that's okay.
Yep.
I signed up for this.
You did. You did. You knew this was going to happen.
Oh yeah. And I came prepared. I came prepared to be green, and I am okay with it.
So,
And there's my one side of one wing.
ta-dam! Excellent. Now, do you want yours to be Kermit or Kermie? Because we haven't decided who's going to be who.
You know what? I'm gonna defer to you because I feel like you're the instructor here, so I think you should get first dibs.
I think I'm going to take Kermie because as a kid, I loved it when Miss Piggy called him Kermie. I thought it was so darn cute.
I'm happy to be Kermit.
There we go.
Oh, I may need to mix up. I
You
mean,
might have to thin out some more, yeah.
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 I was trying to be conservative about how much paint I put down on the paper plate, and now that I'm on the second side of this wing, I'm like,
It's a paint hog.
yeah.
It is absolutely a paint hog.
Fortunately, adding some water to thin down is not a
No.
arduous thing that it's not like when you're mixing up new colors and it's like,
Right.
oh, I got to make sure that I mix up the right amount of
Yeah.
this.
And that's
So,
honestly why I wanted to go for pre-mixed colors, because I know with larger minis, sometimes recapturing that mixed color can be a little tricky.
yeah.
So this kind of gives us an insurance that even though we have to stop soon-ish, we don't have to worry about color consistency because it's the same bottle.
Yeah, we didn't want to have to come back over the holiday break and be like, hey, you remember that color we mixed up 4 weeks ago?
Yeah, oopsie.
Guess what? Guess what? No.
You gotta try and recapture it some way, somehow. Doodly-doo.
All right. Oh, that is so cool. Okay. All right. I love it. I
Yeah,
love it.
you having
Just
fun?
the differences of the color
Yeah,
are super cool.
yeah. It heightens the effect as you start to get it on. And it may be that for us, we just finish up the wings if we don't finish it up in full on stream, just to save us a little time, like slight little bit of homework.
Tiny little bit of homework.
Yeah, tiny little bit of homework. Just we'll get the flesh of the wings taken care of before the next stream. So if you're painting along with us and we don't end up getting the wings done, then you'll want to make sure you finish painting the flesh of the wings with a goblin green, which is like a kiwi green if you're looking for a more generic.
Yeah.
Although actually I think that's what Plaid calls this green for their own line. Woohoo.
Oh, we're being asked who makes this dragon from chat from
Whiz Kids.
yeah, this is a Wiz Kids mini. Um Let me see if I can pull up. I think I've got it at the top
My guess is
here.
79365.
Yeah, this is their young green dragon specifically
SKU?
from Wiz Kids.
Hold on. Let's see if I can get the SKU number for you.
Oh, if we close, okay, all right.
What?
Interesting. We're just working on what to do with the challenge.
Oh.
Sorry, I'm seeing back end stuff as well.
So it's 79336. No, sorry, 73684. That's the code you want for the SKU for the dragon.
Yep. And if you ask at your friendly local game store, they should be able to look that up. That is.
You can even go to wizkids.com/UPM. Should pull you up to their unpainted mini resource page.
There you go. Yeah, and this is not like it is a strange and odd creature or one that is hard to get a hold of. This is kind of a nice standard dragon.
Yeah, it's a good dragon.
A nice standard dragon, and I definitely need more paint. I undersold how much paint these wings soak up.
I'm getting near. I might need to actually. There we go.
Yep, I got it. All right, let's see. How do I put this down? Oh, you're gonna be on the wing that isn't painted yet. Okay. And we were using this one. Let me give it another shake.
That one is one that definitely needs to be shaken often.
Yeah, at least it makes it obvious because of the
color separates. Yeah.
Yeah. So at least it's an obvious one, unlike some of the others where it was like, oh, and by the way.
Yeah. And oh, by the by, just so you know, FYI. Oh, but I'm so happy with seeing these colors getting on here today.
Yeah. Yeah, this is definitely starting to come together.
Yeah.
As a Durgan.
As a Durgan. And then we'll start doing the dry brushing and all that fun stuff. That's where even more of these details are going to pop out.
I think I need a little more water. I'm trying to take your advice and err on the side of too thin.
Too thin, yep.
Too thin.
Too thin.
Especially as I get into the littler parts of these wings, the smaller membranes.
It definitely helps having it thinned out.
Okay, there we go. Think we're good. We're good.
Yay.
Okay. So yeah, as we're in the last half hour of the show before the end of the year.
Oh my gosh, time has flown. No, I didn't mean to. That was really not an intentional one. Time has flown as we're painting wings.
Hey, it works. There is one more show after us. Stick around after we're done for Garwar's Guide. He's got there's a show today, and then there's the final, technically the final episode of any show on the CNE channel is happening tomorrow. Will also be Garwar's Guide. Garwar is being awesome and closing out the year. But we are in our final half hour. If anybody has any last questions to ask about painting, about the game, definitely stick question in big capital letters in the chat so our awesome moderators, Martin and Mars, can grab those. Because as you can see, we are focused on wings. And so that way it makes it a little easier for us to grab, or for them to grab those questions and us to not miss them. As we're trying to get the wings done before the end of the year.
Yep, we're dressing our wingspan.
Yeah. And if you're wondering why we're calling them Kermit and Kermie, you should definitely go check out our social media because
You need to.
um oh that
You
I
need
had
to.
never seen
I
Kermit
have
dressed
not
as a dragon
either.
before. I need to find out what that's from.
Right? It was so kismet.
Oh
That
yeah.
was just. Yep.
We'll have to ask Trevor. Well, he might know. He might know exactly where that's from because I don't recognize that.
He was just doing like Kermit in a dragon outfit search. Like he thought there'd be like a cartoon or something, and he found that.
Yeah. If anybody knows in chat, if anyone checks out our social media,
And you
there's
know,
this
yeah.
picture on the Idle Champions Twitter that they are using that is awesome. That is literally just Kermit
Kermit as a dragon.
Kermit not just as a dragon, but as a green dragon.
Green. It was perfection. It just.
It was amazing.
Ah.
So yeah, but I need to know what that is from. I need to know,
Yes.
is that from a Muppet Show episode? Is that from Sesame Street? Is that from a movie?
Yeah.
Someone's got to know.
I want to
The,
know.
yeah, the problem is Kermit's been in so
So
much.
much.
So it is sometimes hard to tell, but that was such a cool picture.
It really was.
And I don't know if we've talked about it. It's not going to happen today, but we do plan on having a tiny little homage to that. A little bit. A little bit. That'll happen in the new year, but I'm excited.
Nice.
But that's also why we're calling these Kermit and Kermie, because it's just, it's too perfect.
Mm-hmm.
I should have probably used a smaller brush to get into that corner, but oh well.
Yeah. It's okay.
I can fix that later.
We'll be doing some dry brushing too, so chances are that's going to get pulled in because of the dry brushing. It'll be less obvious. So I wouldn't stress over it. It's basically a long way of saying it.
Yeah. Dry brushing and washing will fix all of our problems.
Jay figured it out. Look, if you look in the chat, C&E Jay figured it out.
The Kermit dragon is Froggo the dragon from Muppets Tonight, episode 207. Wow, they even have the episode number. Jay, you're amazing.
MVP.
Oh my God. Well, I'm going to go figure out how to watch Muppets
that.
Tonight now.
Right? Oh my God, amazing.
I bet you that's on Disney Plus. I bet you they've got. I think so. I think because they have all of the old Muppet Show episodes. So...
Oh, I didn't know this. Really?
Oh yeah, that's what. So this is one of the reasons that my husband and I have Disney Plus. There's two reasons. It was for Marvel and Muppets, and we have been two big M's, and we've been watching slowly, basically like, hey, we're gonna have dinner and watch a Muppet Show. Hey, we're gonna sit and have lunch and have a Muppet Show. And so we've started from the beginning, from season 1, and every day or two we watch another episode. You know, whenever it's like, we got a half hour, 45 minutes to sit and chat and then eat. It's usually dinner. Dinner seems to have turned into Muppet Show time, but we've been making our way through all of the old Muppet Show episodes.
That's amazing.
And it's been especially fun for those moments where we're like, okay, recognize this guest. I don't know what they're from, like what they did. And half the time when that happens and we don't recognize who they are, but we like recognize them, we look it up and it's something they did like 20 years after.
Oh wow.
You know? So they've just had this amazing career and we just happen to know them from like this one thing. And then there's like your old stalwarts like Rita Moreno and stuff like that show up. We haven't made it to my favorite Muppet episode yet because I think that's later on.
Okay.
But my favorite one is.
I was gonna say you better share what it is.
Oh yeah, it's the Paul Simon episode.
Oh yes.
It's so good. It's Phil. I mean, first off, I'm a fan of Paul Simon's music, so there's that. But also, it's one of the more cohesive episodes because all the music in that episode is Paul Simon music.
Yeah.
And so it's got this wonderful cohesiveness to it. And it's just super funny. And Paul Simon is just a joy. And they do a acoustic version of, it's one of those like, hey, it's Paul Simon just sitting in the dressing room and Kermit comes by to say hi. And the next thing you know, they're singing a song. But it's Paul Simon singing Long, Long Day. And it's an acoustic version of just him and his guitar, his acoustic guitar. And it's gorgeous. And it is actually my favorite version of that song. is him singing it on the Muppet
Neat.
Show. So much so that for the longest time I had a recording that was just a recording off of the video. I just burned the audio from it
Uh-huh.
onto a CD so that I could have that version
I
because
love
it's
it.
just such a lovely, sweet version of it.
Oh,
But yeah, that's my favorite episode of the Muppet Show. So I'm excited to get there. But
awesome.
there's been some fun stuff, and we've really enjoyed it. And so yeah,
Didn't even know
I
this.
bet you Disney Plus has all of Muppets
Probably,
Tonight
yeah.
because there wasn't that much. It didn't go on for that long.
Still, it's great to know.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the original Muppet Show is just I
I
highly
mean, yeah.
recommend.
You can't not hear that theme song and not get nostalgic if you're from a certain era
Absolutely.
as a child.
And I understand why it's there because it's not like they can do this for some shows and not others. But you know
Mm-hmm.
how on most streaming platforms, but Disney Plus does that in where like the opening and the closing, it gives you the option to skip the opening or skip the credits.
Yes,
And
yes.
every time that comes up, we're like, why
Why
would you
would you
ever
skip
do that
that?
on the Muppet
Yes.
Show?
No.
Why would you ever skip the
You
opening
don't
of the
skip the
Muppet Show
opening.
or the credits? But like, yeah, why?
No.
That is not allowed. Not in this house.
No. We do not skip theme songs for the Muppets in this house.
Yeah. There we go. That was my Muppet rant for the day.
I am kind of living for the Muppet rant. Not ramp. Rant.
Wholesome Muppet Show rants.
I mean, the world needs more of them. I'm
This
also
is
seeing a lot of nostalgia being discussed in the chat for different cartoons, and I'm here for it.
yeah. It's also been gratifying to see something from my childhood that still holds up because not
That
everything
now.
from
Oh
I'm
boy.
a I grew up in the late 70s, 80s, and 90s, and much of the media that I consumed that I have nostalgia for, I know without having to go back. Just thinking about it, I'm like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's not going to hold up. So I'm just never going to watch it again. Try
Yep.
to hold on to what was good about it and ignore what was bad.
Exactly.
And so far, the Muppet Show has been nothing. There's been some uh there's a couple of moments every once in a while when Miss Piggy is just like hitting everybody, or it's like,
Yeah, that's
okay,
kind
well,
of that was always problematic even then.
yeah, exactly. But like overall, and it's just been a delight.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's also been nice is to go back and be
Aw.
like, this was a good part of my childhood that I can continue to enjoy.
This is something that's still on the enjoyable level of things. Yay!
Yeah, yeah. And every once in a while they've got that the Muppet Show has been one of those shows and where Disney Plus will put up that warning beforehand if there
Mm-hmm.
is something and where they're like,
Mm-hmm.
hey, this is not okay, and they don't give
Right.
specifics. Um so it's sometimes hard to tell and sometimes it's not
Yeah.
hard to tell. Sometimes we
Yeah.
see that alert and it's like, oh yeah, it's
Uh-huh.
this.
Mm-hmm.
But it hasn't been anything that's been horrific. It's
Well,
just
that's
been
good.
like, oh, okay, it's a small world and you're singing in some accents and you
Yeah.
probably shouldn't have done
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
We just watched the episode in where everybody was turning into chickens. There was a flu-like thing going around and where what happened was you turned into a chicken and so you got to see chicken versions of all of the Muppets.
So the Muppets called the bird flu.
I kind of, yeah, I think that's what they were making fun of a little bit. I think
Okay.
they were a little bit, but it was very gentle. It was
Yeah,
very
yeah.
much like you sneezed and then you turned into a chicken.
Oh,
And then
no.
they had, I'm trying to remember who the guest star was. Why am I blanking on who the guest star? The guest star was also very nice. And at the end, they were like, because I was waiting for guest star turned into chicken.
Uh-huh.
And they asked during the ending, and they were like, "Oh no, they were kind of comparing it to chicken pox because they said, "Oh, I caught this as a child, and so I've got some immunity, and now I'm going to get a booster shot." Like they basically said that, and it was like, "Yeah, yeah, you'll be fine in a day or two. You'll just be a chicken for a little while." I'm like, "Okay," and then you got to see everybody's chickens.
That's incredible. I need to go back and watch all of this again.
It is. It's also been fun because I've learned recently and by recently, it's been in the last couple of years, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I am not someone who enjoys binge watching.
Fair.
Um, I am I tried for so long and I didn't realize it for a long time. And it basically took it was actually when Stranger Things season 2 came out
Mm-hmm.
that I realized, because we tried to binge watch it and I kind of got tired of it, even though it was an excellent season.
Yeah.
And I that's when I realized I'm like, oh, when I try to consume too much of this media all at once, I burn out on it super fast. And then I don't like it anymore. And
Mm-hmm.
it just makes me tired to think about watching that much.
Yeah, that's
And
totally fair.
so being now the person who's like, I'm just gonna watch an episode and be done for
Mm-hmm.
today, with stuff that you can binge watch, and then really getting into the fact that now like Disney Plus puts out shows like Hawkeye that is
Right.
hey, we're only going to put out one episode a week. I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
It makes me so happy.
Yeah. Just remember though, if you're one of those people who gets on and watches that episode as soon as it airs, no spoilers.
No spoilers. No spoilers.
Please, no spoilers.
The people that I follow on social media have been very good about that, which is why
Yeah.
one of the many reasons I continue to follow them. But there's been some problems.
Yeah, there's been some accounts I've had to mute because they're very good at just blasting.
Yeah, it's been difficult.
Yeah.
But yes, we appreciate you when all you say about a show is like, I enjoyed it.
Good. Yep.
Yeah.
I'm happy with that one. I'm happy to see people like, oh my gosh, love this episode, so excited. I'm like, ooh, then I really want to watch it. But oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I love this episode. Let me tell you why. I'm like, please don't.
Yeah. And we had some questions come on in. I realized I got super into getting
We
these wings
did.
done.
We
and
did. We
I
did.
So thank you once again to our moderators for grabbing questions.
Yes.
Jacob Blackman says, question, have you seen the upcoming Army Painter Speed Paint series? And if so, what do you think of them?
I have not seen them personally. This is something that has been in the works from my understanding, and I think it is a comparable option to the contrast paints that are already out for Citadel. So I am curious to see what others have to say about that. Will I be buying them for myself? Probably not. But things like that are good if you're like doing, massive amounts of miniatures all at the same time.
So I'm assuming from speed paints, the idea is that it dries faster?
A little
or...
bit of dries faster helps bring out details a little bit more, a couple less steps involved, things like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Interesting.
Yeah, from what little I've read, it reminds me a lot of the contrast paints that Citadel has had out for the past year and a half, 2 years almost, I want to say.
And contrast paints are that same kind of
Same
thing?
concept. Yeah, you put on a base color and then you put on another layer of paint that basically is wash and paint sort of incorporated into one. Yeah.
Okay.
Can be very cool. I've seen people do some great things with it. It's just, again, I already have a lot of paint. So for me, I truly can't justify buying a new paint for things that I enjoy doing, because I enjoy the process of dry brushing and of bringing out the details myself. To me, that's my therapeutic factor for painting miniatures, because that's my quiet and focused time. But yeah, so.
But that's kind of cool that like there are those options,
Yeah.
especially if because I have to assume a lot of the people that are watching this show are like us and where we're D&D people who are probably painting a mini at a time. But like you said, if you're doing Warhammer
Yeah.
style, armies of
Yeah.
stuff, or
They're
if you're
helpful.
D&D and like, hey, I
Like
want
your
an entire skeleton
zombies
army.
and skeletons and all
Yeah.
that stuff is super helpful for those.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. But okay, I've
Um,
got both wings addressed.
I'm 2/3 of the way there. I've got
Cool.
the underside of one wing left.
We did some good progress today. I'm thrilled that we got the wings
Yeah.
and the frill all set, because that just leaves us with the underbelly and then some more detail work for next time.
Yeah.
So that's
Well,
awesome.
I'm just getting the wings done. But like
Yeah.
getting the wings done, that's a
It gives a
huge amount
really
of
good
surface
feel.
area.
Yeah. Also, you
Oh,
get a
yeah.
feel for what this fellow is going to look like once we get the dry brushing going too, because that's going to be chef kiss.
Yay. Oh, no, don't get in there. Don't get in there. No.
Yay.
There we go. And now we're making Kermit yay noises. I love
Yep.
it.
Yep. I saw a quick question. Like, someone asked if I ever get paint on my rings. Nope. Oddly enough, nope. I purposely put paint on myself, obviously, there.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I haven't ever really gotten anything on my rings. And this is a mood ring too, so that's the funny part. Like, it's not that the ring has paint on it, it's that it just shifts its colors.
And it just happens to be matching.
Yep.
Aw.
And that happens a lot whenever I go to paint minis. Like, suddenly the ring matches the miniature. I don't know what that's about.
All right, I got
But I'm quite happy with that one. You get any other questions that came through?
We did have a digression from the Muppets from Al Falker, which, you know what? The Muppets are a digression from
They are a
the
digression of a
mini, so it's
digression.
all a digression. Norway made their own Sesame Street spin-off called Sesame Station, based off the train station and their Muppet human personnel. They got USA Muppet makers over to co-create the Muppets and share the license. That's super cool.
I love little
I love
factoids
stuff like
this.
that. I know, right?
Samesies.
Exactly. I love that they managed to share the license, though. I think that's super cool.
I think that's fantastic that people are willing to not be dragons about that.
Not be dragons. All right, speaking of dragons, I've got this little tiny bit left to do, so I'm gonna try to get this done in the 5 minutes we have left, because we are almost at time. And if not, then you know what? If it ends up being a little bit of homework, that's okay.
Just a little.
Do you, since you have made it to the end of today's jargon, do you have any last bits of advice for anybody who might be watching, say, either right now or on the YouTube version of this show? Any last bits of advice for anyone who's like, hey, I liked watching this show. I think I'm going to go buy some paints and buy a mini and join, like any bits of holiday advice?
Yes, in terms of if you're going to join us and jump into painting the dragon with us, it's going to be tempting to sit there and try in all one fell swoop get this fellow painted, but do take breaks. You know, maybe do an episode, paint for a couple hours, then give yourself, even if it's just like a couple hours between, get up, move around, get some food, because honestly, if you try and like sit there and paint a mini all day, you'll be hurting the next day. So just keep that in mind. It's great that you want to come and join us and catch up, but not to the detriment of your physical and food health? No. Digestive health? So definitely make sure you stop and pause every so often. And even though I might be showing you where exactly to put certain greens and everything, if you want to go off the cuff and have some fun, then do it, because this is your dragon. So have fun with if you want to kind of switch the colors, make the lighter green the body and the darker green the wings, do it. But yeah, if you're going to join us for that one, that would be awesome. And then just for mini painting in general, if you are fresh and just starting out, mistakes are actually a good thing. I will always say this. Mistakes, yes, they are a good thing. They help you learn and grow and develop as a painter. And the more you do, the more you figure it out. And later on down the line, you become more comfortable with the paint and everything. So don't let yourself get caught up in it's not perfect. It won't be. And that's okay. And that's cool. As long as you're walking away from whichever mini you start with, that you're picking up some things along the way. That really is the point of getting into miniature painting, learning how to do it.
I think that's excellent advice.
Yeah.
I also would second that. Join us, but join us in fits and spurts. Join us in a couple hours and then stop and take a break, take a stretch, like we're about to do as I just finished the wings.
Yay!
And I'm just going to delicately hold this by mouth and tail as everything
Looks
is
like
wet.
It's like you're doing a dive bomb with the way you have it and you're spinning it. It's like...
But it's like everything else is wet, so I'm just going to hold it by tongue and tail. There we go.
There you go. Ta-da!
All right.
Amazing.
That is good timing. So we are going to say goodbye for the year.
What is this?
For the year. But thank you to everybody for an awesome year. We do have the one more show coming up, so stick around. We've got Gar Wars Guide to Everything is coming up after this. Thank you to Martin and Mars, our amazing moderators and producers, for helping out. And thank you, V, for all of the fun that we've had this year and for the excitement of next year as we finish up a Dargan.
I can't wait. And thank you. This has been such a pleasure getting to paint with you. And to the chat, thank you for hanging out with us every single episode. I have thoroughly enjoyed. I can't wait for more questions and chat with you in the new year. So happy holidays, everyone. And we'll see you in 2022. Oh my goodness.
Cool.
Bye. Bye.